They say that winning in the NFL is hard. It's hard. It's very hard. But I can't help but feel like any sport organization, there is hard, and then there is this lovely word I like to call incompetence. That maybe you're the problem. Maybe it's you. Because I just can't speak for everybody, but um there's a good situation of fans that are loyal and never leave, and those that only root when they are good. And I can't help but feel like for this team, there is loyalty to the point of, haha, haha, yeah, we're loyal, but we're about to burn torches and pitchforks, you know? So, hey everybody, I'm Cortez, and I'm a critic, and welcome back. We're concluding the AFC East NFL 2026 draft recap, and we're talking about the Jets, 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 Jets. Uh, uh, it's hard to be optimistic for this team that you feel like the Browns are do better, the Bucks did better, the Cardinals. Why do you guys still suck? And why am I noticing there's a lot of people in media that are Jets fans thinking, oh my God, they are victims of abuse. Oh my God. And every year, I'm dying, wondering that maybe this is the year. But now I'm saying that with like, to do what? Let's talk about the draft class. Granted, the Jets have one of the smaller draft classes, but I feel like the Jets, for probably one of the few times, I think they hit a masterclass of acquisitions. But they always get the best ingredients and then they spoil them. So, yeah. And for whatever reason, we'll see what they do. I mean, they brought Geno Smith back. We'll see how long that lasts before that memory becomes a nightmare. But they addressed the need they needed to address, and to me, I think they made a solid first step. Will it work? Well, that's for the regular season to decide. But for the draft, for the optimism and copium of Jets fans everywhere, I think they did a good job. And it starts with number 2, with the second overall pick in the 2026 NFL Draft. The New York Jets select David Bailey, edge, Texas Tech. For the longest time, Reese from The Ohio State was projected to be this guy. And then, as we got closer to the draft, Bailey's name started fluctuating. And then some even put things like Ruben Bain, Sonny Styles, Caleb Downs. Some even said the Jets will trade it to get 2 first rounds and make a decision like there. You know, there was a lot of talk. There was even talks that when the Raiders got Kirk Cousins, the Jets will trade with the Raiders to get Mendoza. That was a very short-lived hypothesis, but still there. Bailey is believed to be the best pass rusher. And for the Jets' sake, sure. You need anyone that is the best of the best. That's not a quarterback for your situation. Let's be real. Some of you are still suffering from the Zach Wilson tobacco, the Sam Darnold evaluation, and now you're sitting there going, Well, the Patriots are back, the Bills took her, and Miami literally went full blown credit all on my credit card. You need to do something. If nothing else, make it seem that you guys are trying to do something. Even though the leadership of the Jets has been not supporting the fans' desire of yay for another NFL season. But for right now, getting David Bailey to me is the smart choice. It was the best choice. Honestly, besides a quarterback, I think this is the one acquisition where I feel like you cannot screw this up, at least on defense. I thought maybe Sonny Styles could have been a reach. Caleb Downs could have been a reach. But in this day and age in the NFL, you want to sack the quarterbacks and be disruptive. David Bailey was the way to go. I understand that Arvell Reese was heavily projected. Even I said at the very last second, I still believe Arvell Reese is the guy. Funny enough, he still went to New York. Just went to the Giants. So, Bailey going to the Jets, I like to say, duh, because that's technically what it is. The Jets needed it, and they got it. Now we just hope, like every rookie, for no matter what team, they develop to the NFL smoothly. Then, still in the first round, they got 3 first-round picks. So, like I said, they went full-blown everything. With the 16th overall pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the New York Jets selected Kenyon Sadiq, tight end, Oregon. This is the one where I'm thinking, maybe you didn't have to do that. At 16, there were still some players I thought maybe they would address, because I thought Taylor, the tight end last year they got, was the guy. I understand Kenyon Sadiq has that, but look at what Sadiq could do. And trust me, Sadiq was probably a lot of me, including my own, thinking, well, if this player wasn't here, the Bucks will get him because, you know, he's the best position out there and anything to help Baker Mayfield and the Buccaneer offense. So Sadiq was a lot of Buccaneers mock depth chart and a lot of ESPN and NFL's mock depth chart of Sadiq going to Tampa to help with the Buccaneer receiving threat, because a quarterback's best friend is a tight end. And Sadiq has that Jimmy Graham, Travis Kelce, athletic tight end. In this day and age NFL, athletic tight ends seem to be almost just as valuable as a number one wide receiver. So for the Jets' sake, I understand they got Zach already from last year, but I have to give the Jets a defense of thinking, yeah, but I mean, a 2 tight end set formation, and Kenyon Sadiq is so Kenyon Sadiq is such a rare specimen for a tight end that I will defend the Jets by saying, but seriously, the Jets receiver pool, why keep calling Zach? His name is Mason. Mason Taylor, the tight end. Why keep calling him Zach Taylor? Mason Taylor. Ugh, wrong Taylor. The tight end. So, yeah, Kenyon's viewed as a guy, but I'm telling you, Kenyon will be utilized as a receiver tight end, while Taylor will be utilized as a tight end. But I don't believe that Mason will be wasted. I just hope they don't waste him, because I feel like they have 2 solid young tight end with great hands that they need to utilize, especially if the receiving core is a little bit lackluster. Yes, lackluster. That's a new word. And then in the 30, and then so in the first round with the 30th. With the 30th overall pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the New York Jets selected Omar Cooper Jr., wide receiver, Indiana. I thought he was going to be a Raider. But he went to be a Jet. And what makes me feel disappointed is that I feel like Omar will have more of a learning necessary to learn with Geno Smith and whoever the Jets' new quarterback be for the future. Let's be real, Geno Smith is clearly a placeholder. But if Cooper would have gone to Las Vegas with Mendoza, he probably would have a much better prospect young rookie season career than him now. Now, Omar Cooper going into the Jets. Garrett Wilson is still the guy, but There's some Cooper feel like a Godwin to me. He's a number 2 wide receiver, or even a number 3, but he's gonna be playing like a number 1. So if Cooper, as the season goes on, starts becoming the guy in situation, or getting more trust, don't be surprised. Yes, he had Mendoza, Heisman Trophy in Indiana. Yes, 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 yes. But to me, I feel like Cooper is one of those wide receivers that don't let the school, don't let what he did in college kind of dictate his potential in the NFL. I feel like Cooper proved that he can play well in the high level, and that he will do the same thing for Geno. I coach receivers, and I always say your quarterback is not going to make you great. You are going to make yourself great. A quarterback is not always going to throw you the perfect ball. Now, those great quarterbacks will make you even better, but do not rely on the quarterback to make you better. Sometimes you have to make you better. Mike Evans had 1,000-yard receiver with like half a dozen different quarterbacks, some of which are not in the league anymore, or let alone playing as starting quarterbacks. So you tell me how much he did to make himself better versus the quarterback to make him great. Then we go to the second round with the 50th overall pick in the 2026 NFL Draft. The New York Jets selected D'Angelo Pons, corner, Indiana. I think this is another valuable pick for the Jets, as it feels like the Jets have addressed at least nothing more than just getting the fans excited that we're getting players. We're not building on fundamentals as much, we're getting players that make you excited. We're getting 2 players that were part of the national championship. We're getting the best players in their position, the edge and the tight end. Our first 4 picks, we have literally gotten starters that made impacts in their position, in their teams, and in the league last year. All on our team. Yes, I know we're the Jets, but at least for the time being, the optimism, the hope, the copium is high. And D'Angelo Pons joining the Jets makes this exciting. Yes, he's not going to be the replacement for Sauce Gardner. No one can replace the Sauce like that. But Pond, to me, feels a better replacement than what D. Miller was when the Jets got him after they traded Darrelle Reeves to Tampa. So that's my argument for that. Pond is a good acquisition for the Jets, and they have him currently at the nickel, and I believe that'll be perfectly fine for him right now. But the Jets are swinging home runs, in my opinion, for the first 4 picks, and that what disappoints me is that, so how are you going to underutilize these young men? Sorry, you're the Jets. Prove me otherwise. And Aaron Glenn, that guy did not need to be this close to the guillotine this early in his coaching career path. And then they took a break to the 4th round. Almost 50 picks later, actually over 50 picks later, with the 103rd overall pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the New York Jets selected Darrell Jackson Jr., defensive tackle, Florida State. I think this is another big hitter to join the Jets defensive side. This is a 4-3 defense, and I feel like this fits perfectly for Jackson Jr. Now, Jackson Jr. is currently viewed as the 3rd string left defensive tackle side behind Maze Smith and Trevon Sweat, but to me, that's fine. Develop him, get him a rotation, he'll make his marks during preseason, but the optimism for Jackson Jr. is that in due time, he will get involved, and when he does, he will not hinder the Jets. This is a young core of men that are going to be joining this team that hopefully for the next 5 to 10 years will be the foundation for the Jets moving forward, to the point we can start saying, finally they're competitive to be a playoff contention, and maybe we can be a little bit optimistic and say, maybe competing for the division. Maybe. But right now, Darrell Jackson going into the Jets, I think it's another big hit. I think this is good, especially for a 4-3 defense. 3-4, I'll be concerned. 4-3, I like it better. And then this one, I'm actually liking it more than I thought. 7 picks later, in the 4th round, with the 110th overall pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the New York Jets selected Caden Kolnick, quarterback, Clemson. Now, this was a gentleman that was projected to be a first-round pick at the start of last year, or even dark horse Heisman, but he fell. He fell down all the way down to the 4th round. Now, I don't need to remind you all, but we have in our history several quarterbacks that have fallen past the third round and have succeeded. Some are still succeeding to this day. So let's not do that. And for the Jets' sake, Kolpnik could be the Jets starting quarterback in a few years. I'm getting, forgive me, Jets fans, I'm getting Chad Pennington vibes. Now, I know Chad Pennington was a much higher draft pick than Kolpnik, but I'm getting that feeling. This is a guy that feels like he's coming in as an underdog. He may get the opportunity, he may not, but he's coming in when the quarterback situation for the Jets seems to be more closer to the end of their career because, their age versus their playing ability. And I can't help but feel like that potential is there, the optimism is there. We'll see which advantage does he take advantage of his opportunities? Does he went from an up and down career and he's still up and down here? Um, I'm more optimistic for him than the most of Jets quarterbacks past, including the first round pick ones. So I'm hoping he develops something greater. So do not be surprised if the season goes one way, that maybe Kolpnik will get some starts at the end of the season, mainly if the season goes south. But if he does, I'm hoping that he has a good orientation, good first impression, and maybe the conversation will be maybe we should give him the reins. But let's be real, the Jets have the number one pick in the draft. They're getting the quarterback, regardless of what I say here. But if they don't, just keep an eye on that. Then we go to the sixth round with the 188th overall pick in the 2026 NFL Draft. The New York Jets selected as Anzi Cooper, offensive guard, Miami, Florida. Interior offensive lineman always screams run the ball for me. Strong, wide build, 6'6", 334. He's top 10. He's sixth in his position. He's just under 110 overall ranking. Strong, wide build, move defenders, can block, sustain his blocks. So definitely needs more development, but the 6'6", 334 screams beautiful intangibles. Let's just, chisel that. Let's just form his foundation. He's a late round pick, so we'll have to rush him in. But to me, if he plays well in year 2 or 3, that's good enough for us. For the Jets, this development seems future-based investment more than this upcoming season's anticipation. So for Cooper, develop, man. Learn, develop, enjoy, get better, strengthen your techniques. And then maybe in 2027, we'll see you either as a starter or closer to it. And then we conclude in the 7th round with a 228th overall pick in the 2026 NFL Draft. The New York Jets selected VJ Payne, safety, Kansas State. Safety was not one of the major needs for the Jets, but this gentleman is 11th best in his position. He's 6'3", 206, a little bit bigger for most safeties. He has played over 42 games in the past 4 seasons, run support, strong downhill runner. Has a tendency to miss a few tackles here and there, so intangibles are good. Range is great. He's better in man than in zone, so yeah, special team contributor, development. We'll see what happens, but I feel like VJ is another acquisition that the Jets feel that we don't need to thrust him in right away. Maybe year 2, maybe year 3, he finally gets his feet wet and finally shows what he can really do. But to me, with Cooper and Payne, these two gentlemen, the optimism is high. But not for this year. For next year. And maybe the year after that, for sure. But to me, they'll make their marks later. And that is the Jets. The player I'm most excited about. This is a tough one. There's a few of them I'm actually really excited about. Omar Cooper Jr., the wide receiver from Indiana. He's the guy I am most excited about. He's the one I'm thinking, him. I want to hopefully, in thrusting, that his experience with Mendoza proves flowers, and hoping that even with Geno Smith may or may not be playing to his full potential like he once did, that Cooper will still make enough impact to say, hey, I'm doing my job as best as I can. Now, if you can get me a better quarterback or make an investment for the future, see how much better I can be with a much better quarterback. But how much lemonade I can make with this little of lemons. So I'm very optimistic in Cooper actually to make a splash. Grade for the Jets, better. so much better. This team is so much better. If I was a Jets fan, I am giddy. I am excited, even though that shadow of reality and guilt and trauma is coming. I am still very optimistic for this Jets team. They have one of the smallest, but everyone seems to be like an A plus level grade. So I'm really happy for the Jets, and I think Jets fans should be very excited about this team. And if nothing else, at least give them credit for saying they're getting players for fans to be excited to see. At least give them that. As a non-Jets fan, I am excited to see these guys. And there are some teams where I'm like, not really. But for the Jets and the Dolphins, funny enough, there are teams where like I want to see those rookies play. I want to see, even if it's just preseason, I want to see them thrive, and I will keep an ear out and an eye out just to see, look how well they're doing. And that's the Jets. And that's the entire AFC East. We have one division left, and it's probably going to be the most cutthroat division for 3 of the 4 teams. We're going to conclude this 2026 draft recap by going to the NFC West. And let's get the worst team out of the way first. Yes, I'm being snarky, and you know what it is. We're going to go to the Arizona Cardinals first. Let's get that one out because let's be real, the next 3 teams are the real reason for the NFC West competitive. Now the Cardinals could surprise us. No, they're not. No, they're not even close. But that's later. So until next time, I'm Cortez, and I'm a critic. Thank you so very much for watching.